we are just naturally more motivated when we're living in alignment. And I think that because when I am doing pretty well, I'm motivated to do the extraneous things that I don't have to do. On the other hand, when I'm feeling like I'm really stressed out and I'm not feeling like I'm doing the things that I want to be doing, then it's really hard for me to force myself to do anything. That's really where the question lies. What does that even mean to be living in alignment?
Often, I don't think that I have enough motivation. Maybe I just don't have as much energy, or maybe I need to focus really hard. I keep seeing my motivation as a problem that needs to be fixed, but no matter how hard I try, nothing changes. I fail at being motivated over and over again, and if you've experienced that too, you know how hard it is. Somehow, I'm not motivated turned into thoughts like I'm lazy, I'm a failure, and nothing's gonna work out for me. So I would try harder and harder to prove to myself that I'm not those things, but the more I try, the more I seem to fail. I've tried so hard that it would cause me to burn out, and that's not a great reward for trying to be motivated. So I wanted to share some things that have been helping.
None of us are going to have motivation to do everything, even though some people really look like from the outside that they are just very motivated in every category of life. Like I remember when I was in school, I would always be like, oh, that person's so motivated to study, and I just want to be motivated like they're motivated. I think it's taken me a long time to come to terms with the fact that there are some things that other people are motivated to do that I am just simply not motivated to do, and that is starting to become more okay with me, because it's okay, let me focus on the things I have motivation for, because there are going to be some things that I have motivation for that other people don't. We are on the straight up internet at betterot.com with 19 ways to get motivated. Self-criticism isn't going to motivate you. In fact, it's going to harm your motivation. Practicing self-compassion means you speak kindly to yourself and you quiet your inner critic. And I really, really do believe in this one. It's not very motivating. Pretend you're at work and you have a boss who's just always grilling you. You never do anything right and you should be doing so much better and all of this stuff. I feel for me, I'm someone who also has a really strong inner critic, and it's not motivating to work for someone like that. I'm starting to realize that I am that terrible boss, and that's probably why I don't have motivation to do anything. And I also have a video on self-compassion if you're interested in watching that. Seek inspiration from role models. Look up to people who have accomplished what you desire to. Study their journeys, setbacks, and successes to gain inspiration and insights. I feel I really like this one, and I do this a lot. There's just so many different ways to look at it and so many journeys, and I feel you can never have enough of those. And I don't know, I'm one of those people that gets really inspired by motivational speeches and stuff like that, so sometimes I'll do that. But when I'm really not feeling it, those don't really help me. I feel oftentimes when I'm feeling particularly unmotivated, it's because I've let those things that, I don't really care about, things that I don't feel I'm doing for myself, I've let those things take over a really large proportion of my time. And I feel when that goes on over and over and over again, I start to lose motivation. Recently, my creative projects have really been struggling, and I'm not making as much progress as I would really like to. And I think what's really helpful is to remind myself that little things matter. I can give myself credit for working on my creative work for even an hour, and that's okay, and I'm doing the best that I can do.
It's good to remind ourselves that we're more than what we produce. Many of us live in places where we learn to value ourselves based on our productivity. This causes us to feel a hole in our lives when we aren't being productive. Most of the time, I want to do nothing, but when I am doing nothing, I can't sit still. For me, it's so uncomfortable to be unproductive that I would just rather work for no reason. It's important to learn to remind ourselves of who we are outside of what we do. All of us have something important to share with the world. It could be a message, a story, a lesson, or a talent, but likely it's just your energy. You're a valuable piece of this world without putting any reasoning behind it. And I think we can all remind each other and ourselves that from time to time.
This is not really that good, but I'm just okay. Sometimes I doubt that I even am so-called living in alignment, Essentially, what I think it means is doing things that are aligned to your like greater life purpose. Also, I feel like it doesn't have to be like alignment with your life purpose or something really grand. I think it at the core comes from being aligned with like what you really care about and what you value. Too many times than not, especially for us women, like we can really sacrifice those things and give a lot of ourselves up. Living in alignment is like really knowing, like always coming back to yourself at the end of the day and knowing what truly matters to you as a person. And what matters to me is probably not something that matters to you so much. And I feel like that's where a lot of our like disagreements come as people. We don't understand other people because we don't understand what they care about. But in reality, it's much more important for us to really stick to ourselves rather than try to like change for all of these things that are happening around us or accommodate for other people. And that like all at the end of the day just takes like a little bit of time and know like what you do care about. And I think when you're doing things that align with what you believe matters, that's when things start to make sense. And that's when like life starts to pull together a little bit. I always try to like pull it so that it's like more smooth, not that that does anything. You're going to realize it one day that happiness was never about your job or your degree or being in a relationship. Happiness was never about following in the footsteps of all those who came before you. It was never about being like the others. One day you're going to see it. That happiness was always about the discovery. Happiness was always about being kinder to yourself. It was always about embracing the person you were becoming. One day you will understand that happiness was always about learning how to live with yourself. I just think that's so perfect because life just is so much better when it's for us. That's when the motivation comes in. That's when everything feels like it's connecting and that things are good. But really, at the end of the day, I am just here to remind myself and to remind all of us to not be so hard on ourselves and like beat ourselves up all the time. There's so many things the world does not know about you. The world doesn't see you for all the times that you have just decided to get up and like go on with the day. But to me, and I think some of you will also understand how big of an accomplishment that is. Thank you so much for spending the day thinking about this with me. I always enjoy this and it's like the best part of my life. So thank you guys so much for watching and I hope you got something out of it.